Thanks, everybody, for watching Coffee for Closers. Joining us this week. Today, we're talking all about the mistakes senior advisors make. This is to be maybe like part 2 to what we did earlier this week as what new advisors make. We also have special guest Caine Crawford on the show. Hope you guys enjoy. Welcome, everybody, to Coffee for Closers. Alex Wellings here with Rick Kallmeyer, of course, but also special guest Caine Crawford in the studio.
Awesome. Thanks
That's
for having
a
me.
luxury we don't always have.
That's true. I'm glad I'm down here today.
Yeah. And so we were talking in the last episode about mistakes new advisors make. And at this point in your career, you're kind of a veteran. So
An old dog, you can tell.
we had you down today to do a big webinar that was really successful. That was big. 50 appointments or so far that we know.
At a 70-something?
At a 70-something, 50 appointments booked. That's incredible.
That's awesome.
And all virtual right here live in the home office studios. But obviously, if you're down here, I'm going to take you onto the show.
I was getting a little jealous. I never see the invite yet.
I know. Yeah, come on, man. This is like at least
Always
number
extended.
2 or 3.
Yeah. It's like this is the second coffee.
Second time for coffee.
I like it.
So anyway, talking on that note, so when we were talking about new advisors and the mistakes that they make, we were talking about the biggest 3 being they take for granted their abilities in the sales world, like how good they are of a salesperson, because they'll see some minor success, assume that's the status quo, and just build from there and never actually work on that craft ever again. Right. We talked a little bit about their abilities to harvest clients 90 days or more. Like they really just are looking to the immediate layup sale and never doing anything to, really harvest that next cream of crop and have those initial investments that they lay out for a marketing event come back and pay dividends for years to come, Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the last one? What did we say?
The third was like in the, pitch process or discussion with the client, spending too much time on like minute annuity facts and features rather than
the facts and like product sales. Features rather than selling on concept. Yeah, right.
No, that's huge. That's really big.
And so you're going to bring obviously a unique perspective, because we said at that point that our next episode would be talking about the mistakes top advisors make, or not top advisors, but senior advisors would make.
Seasoned
people that have been in the business for, I don't know, call it 10 years or more. What is it that they're doing that they're not doing? And it just doesn't have to be mistakes that you're doing. Because I know we were talking about it, you're like, well, what kind of mistakes do I make? Mm-hmm. Look at your colleagues in the business and say, or even like folks that have joined into like your downline, what were the mistakes that they were making that you felt like they needed to do more of? And it might even be more of the same. Like they're just continuing the trends that we had already talked about.
Yeah, and honestly, that's probably a piece of it. I think even in my own career, I think what I said is I don't know what mistakes I make, right? It's like I don't know what questions I have because I don't know what questions to ask. It's like sometimes advisors, I think, that get to a point and see some success.
Yeah.
Don't realize
go get a coach or something.
Yeah, that they could have done. Yeah. So I think, and that's what kind of even in my career too, it's not wanting that next level. I think maybe that's where I'm trying to go with it. Always keeping that progressive realization of real life goals, right? Like a goal should never be the end all.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm going to get to 10 million. And guess where you are 10 years later? 10 million, right?
Yeah.
Because I never changed that goal along the way. And I think even seasoned folks, maybe not the big guys, Johnny's and the other ones, but
they have goals too.
But they're always making them. Like they know that, right?
Their next goal is like, I want to train one more person this year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They have those.
Saying rather than getting stuck at
they don't get stuck. They're always doing it, right?
Definitely.
They figure that out.
Yeah.
And, I think that for a lot of folks, and I don't know, seasoned folks probably don't make that mistake anymore. Because at some point you realize, I've got to keep growing or I'm going to start going backwards.
With a good seasoned. Because clearly seasoned advisors still make those mistakes. Like, there's plenty of that we see that end up coming to Megastar. Like, I can't tell you how many people end up coming over to our firm or change to another firm. Let's take Megastar out of it altogether and just go to another IMO because whoever's recruiting them showed them some error in the flaw, right? Like, or some flaw in their current system And then they're like, well, yeah, shoot, I could be doing that. You're right. I should be doing that. Right? At least that's what we're always pointing out. Say, look, we're going to do a business plan. Let's get to know you just a tiny bit more. Let's understand where, what you're doing, what kind of marketing outlet you have, and what kind of return you're getting from that. And then potentially look at one of three things. Is it about you and your sales ability? Are you grooming that craft enough? Do you have your branding on point? Are you capitalizing on marketing the way you should? And so it's usually one of these 3 or 4 things in those general regions where somebody's lacking, and then pinpointing that and trying to grow. Yeah. But then there's like this fifth, like you're talking about, is like this ability to have a goal, or even the coaching aspect of it, right? I'd almost say, like, I see a lot of folks unwilling to like get mentored by somebody. Like, oh, I don't need a mentor. I've been in this for 10 years.
I'm good enough now.
I don't need that. Yeah. And you might not need it from somebody like us or me, right? Yeah. Or Rick. But there's a lot of folks that would sit and have a lot of great guidance, $5 million producers that would look at you and be like, well, shoot, like, what did Caine do to get from 5 to 10 and, and beyond?
Same thing. How do I go from 15 to 50?
Yeah.
Right. Tom Brady still has a coach, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Right. I mean, yeah.
Yes. But I think that's probably a big one that I see is guys get comfortable and start thinking they know it all.
Yeah.
I always try to learn something new. It's not hard because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I can always learn something.
Yeah.
But ever thinking, if I've ever gotten comfortable with even how I'm presenting, I was even having this conversation with, maybe it was you or Dylan, and it's like, okay, if I can get my numbers from whatever, 30 to 40, from 60 to 80, what can I change? Little things. So to get stuck in a goal and hit that and never change it is one thing. But then I think those same people are like, oh, I'm good enough because look where I got. Yeah. And then that's where they stop.
I think that like comfort level is like a multi-edged dagger, right? Because you get comfortable in your sales process, right? It's like you say, you find something that works, you stick with it, you don't look at adapting it. And there is something to be said about like creating a process, sticking to a process, and once that process works, doing more of it. But when 5, 7, 10 years passes by, you should start looking at like updating. A lot has changes, a lot of technology's changed, a lot of ways you can apply to that.
You just stole the words out of my mouth. I was just going to say, look, here's another big one I see is a lack of willingness to innovate with technology.
Change.
Maybe not just, and maybe in general, just change in general, right? Like I've got something that's helped me produce. Let's say somebody's doing 10 million. A lot of times those guys and gals are like, I've got this repeatable process. And I'm not going to change it. Like, this is what works for me. But the problem is their market share starts to go away at least just, let's probably from a number of factors, but let's just take technology as an example. It's like as more and more consumers leave to wanting to do business digitally, and your lack of willingness to learn the digital side of things and do virtual appointments or do virtual sales is only going to, maybe not today, you haven't noticed enough of it to feel it, but I guarantee you've lost a few sales today. You might not have ever known it, but people that would have been willing to a year ago go to the top of your funnel workshop,
right.
Go fill
are now getting
refillable
captured before they ever get that mailer
Yeah.
in a digital appointment ask and getting siphoned away from the market before they ever hit. It's like real estate that hits that private market before it ever actually gets a public market. Like all the good deals are always gone by the time.
Never knew that was for sale.
Yeah. It wasn't for sale. It never hit the market, right? But that's what the digital sales people are doing. They're siphoning anybody that's ready technologically to do those things.
Because they're filling them with info, right?
Filling them with the info and saying, hey, you could get financial planning for free online from somebody like me that's willing to give it to you. That virtual advisor grabs somebody from your market that would have, if they had just waited, let's say a day later, went to the mailbox, saw your mailer, they would have signed up and registered for your workshop.
Come to the class for sure.
But you're not willing to execute on the virtual side. Too many folks have still not made that migration, and they're getting their market share siphoned away. Eventually, one day, those folks are going to look up, and they're going to see that they're only doing 5 million, doing the same process, and they're going to be wondering how they should change, and they'll now be playing catch-up in the technological war. You could take that same approach to just archaic strategies like your workshop got stale, right? So security workshops. We know right now, and I know David Connor's watching and he's going to argue with me on this, and so security workshops are still the greatest, but I cannot imagine that he'd be able to argue with me on if they have as much as bite as they had
did when they were
pre-file and suspend restricted app elimination.
Oh yeah, that was huge back then.
It was huge. Everybody that went, you were saving them thousands of dollars. I mean, like huge sums of money over time.
Oh yeah.
And then that went away. And now those Social Security workshops have to have a lessening effect. They might still get a lot of people there, right? Because people didn't know about file and suspend restricted app before they signed up for those things. Like, so the sign up is still the same.
Yeah.
But the harvest is much less.
It's a lot less. Well, even like our class going virtual. You know, I mean, I think you guys got me in the virtual world.
Yeah.
You know, early 2020.
Oh, right out the gate, you were in our guinea pig stuff
with that quick little 20-minute TSP. You know, whatever it was. What was it called? The TSP vaccine or something, right?
Oh man, that was great.
but that kind of sparked everything. To where now today I get that was the best class we've ever seen you do. You know, from people that
the virtual stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know, it's like that's so to be able to to transition and change. Yeah, in any industry, right?
Every time we do one, you know, it's like. I get frustrated even before some of these things because we're doing something different.
Yeah.
Right?
We're tweaking it every time, right?
Every single time because it is this ever-evolving thing and the pace is so fast. It's like to stand out, you have to be pushing the image or pushing the limits of everything that's possible.
You got to keep people engaged and do what it takes, right?
I mean, look at how the surveys acted today. We used to just do surveys afterwards, and we're like, wow, that was not a great idea.
No.
But now we're doing evals we're doing the poll questions, using those as an opportunity to hit people during the webinar while they're paying attention rather than waiting for them and hoping that they fill out some survey afterwards. Yeah. We knew there was an attrition point there, but now we've pushed it to a place where we're capturing a way bigger amount of appointments at these webinars.
It's huge.
I mean, that was insane.
Now I can't wait for the next one just to see if we can keep that momentum or see if it builds on what we've already figured out. You should have seen it though when
we were on there. It was like the second we post the poll. I mean, Jacob, you were watching that. It was like, I mean, just you saw everybody just responding immediately on the poll.
Awesome.
Because it pops out in front of the whole screen. So even if they're that's how they have to clear it.
They got to get it off.
They have to get it off to get
so
back
they can
to
see my pretty face, right?
And they were requesting yes. I want an appointment.
Awesome.
Yes. So anyway,
that's huge.
Not willing to innovate is costing a lot of veteran advisors. And that doesn't seem, there's a good point of a contrast to new advisors. New advisors are definitely willing to innovate on any of those things. Yeah.
Well, that almost leads into what I was thinking maybe is another issue. They'll try anything, right? Mm-hmm. I'll innovate. I'll do whatever someone says is cool.
Yeah.
The drawback to that point, though, is a lot of guys are listening to unsuccessful people.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people are like, whoever's readily available. Oh, yeah, I heard this is cool. This is working. Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, who told you that? My friend, he quit the business yesterday. You know, it's like,
gotcha. All right, so fine. There are a lot of false prophets out there. You know?
It's almost like the coffee talk that we talk about with customers. You know, the break room.
Yeah.
Is your friend wealthy? You know, are you the same age? You know, are you getting advice from the right folks? Are you gonna make the change in the right direction?
Are you surrounding yourselves by the people you want to be, or are you surrounding people that are in the same boat as you? Yeah.
And I think that maybe kind of makes me think about another totally opposite thought of a mistake. Like, and somebody, I can't remember who said it, but somewhere along the line, a man's lack of success is due to a man's lack of focus. Yeah, right? So now we're talking about change.
Too many things.
But don't change and do it all, right? Like I've had a million people before coming back to you guys. My last two IMOs, FMOs, I don't even know what you guys like to be called these days. Marketing companies.
That's another bag of wax.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, hey, so we have this one seminar thing that we'd like you to try. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay. And I'm like, is it federal? Oh, no, it's not federal. You know, and I'm a federal guy, right? And I've found a niche that in reality, I don't think I have what I say today in the class. I don't have the time or the temperament or the talent to be doing multiple things. And that's not me. But I can be really good
at
this niche and make all the money I ever need to make in my life.
Yeah.
So when someone comes to me and says, hey, you should try this, you know, women's, you know, marketing to women's Social Security seminars. I'm like, can you focus it on federal? You know, I turn down more opportunities.
Like, this is my genre.
Yeah, this is who I am.
It's like you don't see bands going out and doing very much. You don't see but a handful of people that can go between the genres of music.
I mean, to specify that
specifically,
guys also go out and do their own career so that they don't do that, right? Like people will go and do a side project just so they don't take their music library. Be like, hey, look, I'm this. This is my client base. I'm going to go under a different name, be this band, and try a different side project so I can play with this style of music, right? Like,
do they do that?
Yeah, they even separate themselves.
But not many people do that successfully.
No, not successfully. The side project's never as good as the main band.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Look at Blink 182.
Yeah,
right.
Sum 41 or not Sum 41. Plus 44, Boxcar Racer.
I know they all went like they're
Angels
different.
Waves,
I mean, just so many bands, so many different folks would go out and they would break up and try and go into different genres, and it's never the same. And it's the same in any industry, anywhere. Apple was the same way. Here I am talking Apple 2 episodes in a row. I'm an Apple guy.
I was thinking McDonald's and the McRib.
Yeah.
I mean, the McRib's great.
Wait, I mean, that's all in the same genre, dude.
It's like McCartney and the Beatles, right?
Or was it who was it? Taco? No, somebody was trying to make tacos.
McCartney kind of did it. He did well on his own. He did. McCartney did well on his own, but it's still in the same genre. It's like I'm still gonna stick and play
what
bass.
I wrote from the Beatles, on my own. Yeah, that's fair.
So that's not fair. But with Apple, it was like the first thing Jobs did after he came back from Pixar was eliminate like half of the side projects that they were doing that were kind of outside of what they really wanted to do, which was like computers, phones, that thing.
Yeah,
like this is what we
put it back to what you're good at.
Yeah.
You know, find that niche too. If I could have gone back to, like Dylan was saying earlier, if I could have gone back to my earlier self early on in my career and instead of chasing everybody, found a niche back then. Yeah. You know, it took me 5-6 years before I went. I think I got, one group of people that I can relate to and work with. That's huge. People just randomly just trying to market to everybody. I do Social Security seminars on Tuesdays. I do Fed seminars on Thursdays, and then I do something else. It's just too many things happening.
It's like don't change your story, but change how you tell your story. You don't want to be changing who you are and what you do necessarily, but you do need to be changing how you do those things in order to stay current and stay in front of those folks. Yep. Even old Tom Hegna's been doing it, right? Tom Hegna's like, he came on our show, and I remember when he came on our show, he was really looking for a new way to do these things. He was asking about, like, how did you guys start your podcast back then? Because it was doing like webinars and stuff like that, and his whole game was public speaking events, and the public speaking events were off.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he said, I got to get out there more. And so he ended up doing he started going on different podcasts, basically us being one of them. But that was his mission. And then he kind of started his own thing. And now he's got this whole virtual sales series. The guy's innovating, but he's a titan that's been in the business forever.
Yeah. I think that's the key for it, right? Like, he's stuck doing what he does well, which
he's
is
still telling the
speaking
exact
for people,
same stories.
He's just updated his way about going about it.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah,
so key.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's probably a bunch of other mistakes, but those are the general things that I see folks doing that seem to be the flaws.
I'd say another one I see that I think is a pretty common one would be people not like veteran advisors not setting up well enough or well established enough like marketing budget or kind of longer term commission structure, even to that degree, right? Like not looking at trail options more seriously or not looking at setting up a marketing budget, because we see it a lot, right? You be a $10 million producer, you build overhead, you build a lot of things that come with doing $10 to $50 million in production. You have one bad year like COVID, and it's like the bills didn't stop. You still have all the bills that are coming, and so now you've got to do even more production the next year to try to repay for that. You can get behind the ball real quick. So I think looking at a trail option as far as commission goes, at least to some of the degree, right? And as well as setting up a better like marketing budget for what you're going to do instead of I got to close one person at the sale so I can pay for the next workshop and the bills, that kind of stuff. That's something I see pretty just frequent, right?
Yeah. You couldn't have nailed that better. That is so true. I mean, every year we do an episode talking about planning your year, and we do get a lot of new people interested in doing it. But the ability to stick to those plans ends up being kind of embarrassing sometimes. It's like, this is the plan. Remember, things go up and down. Or just the amount of people that when they do that for the first time are like, I didn't realize I was making that slim a spread on these workshops that I've been doing.
Man, right?
Like they'll be yielding $16,000 and they've been investing $12,000 into their workshops, and you're like, that's $4,000 net
yeah.
profit.
Should be
you could be W-2 making better deals happen right now.
McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's. I don't know. Is that
Don't
what
own the real
McDonald's is
estate.
playing?
Yeah, bro, I'm sure.
I was in Maryland. They
Man.
started them at $18 an hour or something. I'm like,
Oh,
man.
man.
You can make $4,000 a month overtime.
Sign me up.
working at McDonald's. Yeah. Yeah.
My wife's trying to get me to buy that purse, man.
Oh,
I
dang.
might have to go do a little weekend work at
A couple
McDonald's.
weekends, yeah.
Everybody check Alex's GoFundMe page.
Yeah,
He's trying to buy
starting
a purse for his
GoFundMe.
wife.
My wife, yeah. Anyway, she's gonna watch this for
That'll
sure.
be good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all good stuff. If this is you, or if you have any questions about that, or maybe you have a good suggestion yourself about things that, hey, look, even if it's yourself, you don't have to tell us. It could be anything, right?
Yeah. I had a friend who
any mistakes that you're making, or you think any mistakes that are out there, maybe that you've noticed in the industry of people making. Feel free to drop that in the comments. We'd love to see that. And again, still trying out the set. What do you think about the set?
I dig it, man. I like it.
You like it? Well, you like it better than the other one because you were on the other one too.
I do. I like this one.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think you should probably go back and forth once in a while.
Yeah.
Jump over the tables.
Yeah.
I
think this is better for guests.
It's definitely cool.
If your wife sees this one, she thinks we might be messing around all the time now.
That's true. See, sweetheart, I also do this.
We work.
I also do this.
We are getting things done right here.
Anyway, thanks everybody for watching Coffee for Closers. We'll see you right here next time on the show. Thanks, Caine, for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. Yeah. She gonna say something.
Alex is in trouble.
Alex in trouble.